Shalom, y'all. It's Brother Michael Israel, and as you can see, I'm here with William Brown, pastor of B.O.O.M Church, and we're going to talk about the event this week. But first, I'm going to play some music, and I want you to share, tag, and invite, and in that order, and then rinse and repeat it. All right? So enjoy the music, and I'm going to do the same thing. Like I said, if you're just tuning in, go ahead and share, tag, get the word out. And like I said, we'll start this interview very soon. Like I said, if you're just getting in there, go ahead and share, tag, invite on the video. We'll get ready to interview with Pastor William Brown, pastor of B.O.O.M Church, about the event this week in Jacksonville. All right, shalom, y'all. Brother Michael Israel here, and I'm here with pastor of B.O.O.M Church, Pastor William Brown. And what we're going to be discussing today is the awesome event we had this weekend at B.O.O.M Church, the Prophetic and Spiritual Encounter. And if you could, Pastor Brown, go ahead and tell us what you thought of the event this weekend.
Oh man, you know me, bro. I always think that the event is awesome, and it was just we've done several events and at the church with B.O.O.M, and we've done also conferences and things of that nature. But I have to say that this is the most um, that I've felt the spirit of the Most High just hover over us corporately, where there was no egos or any it was almost like it just felt like it was his agenda, and things just flowed spiritually, and everybody was just open just to receive it. Um, it started like that from the jump, from the time we all came into uh, the building and into the church, and it was just a different presence. But then once we began to worship corporately, um, that's when it really just started manifesting. Man, it was one of those things where um, you just had to be there to experience it. It wasn't something that you could really describe to me. It was just one of those things, man. It just you had to be there, and I think sometimes um, seeing if we would have recorded it or lived it, you still wouldn't have been able to feel the atmosphere of what took place. It's kind of like James 1:1.
Yeah.
Video don't do it justice
Yeah.
unless you were there to actually be in the attendance to feel what everybody talked about. So that's how it was for me, man. I'm still just sitting there processing some of the things um, that was said to individuals that I didn't even discuss some of those things with. They knew that they never discussed those things with me, and that was just a blessing of it, man.
And if you could, what I just pulled the flyer up on the screen here, and talk a little bit about Prophet Timothy Frazier. He's from Atlanta. If you could talk a little bit about him and the message he gave.
Okay, Prophet Timothy Frazier, just kind of give a little background of who he is. Um, he started out as those from Atlanta know there was a gang called Down by Law, um, which was back in the 80s, which was a real rough gang. He was one of the founders of it. And of course, he talked about all of the felonies that he had and whatnot. He had I mean, his rap sheet is like, I mean, at least 11 foot tall, 12 foot tall of 8 pages of how many misdemeanors and felonies he had. He was a diehard Muslim, not an NOI guy, but we talking Shiite Muslim,
Mm.
um, heavily into the Quran and his experience. He talked about how, he went into prison and his whole thing was trying to debunk the Bible, in a Christian setting where they had Bible study and there was a female evangelist who was there, and he went with the intentions of proving them wrong, and the spirit of the Most High met him there, and he told his story about how everybody knew he was a devout Muslim. They were like, "Why is this guy screaming? He's chanting Jesus, 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 and he's a devout Muslim." And so with that, and then he was in jail. He didn't want to get let out until he was ready, and then he was celibate for 13 years,
Mm.
um, and then he ended up um, changing his life and becoming a seminary professor uh, at Beulah Heights University in Atlanta. Um, and so he pastors, he's a seminary professor, but he also walks in the office of, and I know, on the Hebraic side, there's a lot of different views on that. A lot of people say you're a prophet because you read from the scriptures
Yeah.
and things of that nature. But, um, you have those prophets in the scriptures that the Most High spoke to directly in their being, and he demonstrated, that he walks in the office of that. And so it, and it's no flaky stuff. He's totally anti uh, uh, Western theology, I guess you would say. He
Mm-hmm.
kind of talked at the day with some of the thing when he was speaking about in Isaiah with Christmas and things of that nature. But um, I met him in a setting like a basement. Me, him, his wife, and my wife were the only black people in the church. Came there to Atlanta when I first got there, like 2002, and I just went to this place. I was having an event. I didn't know a church function, looking for a church. And I went there, me and my wife, we didn't know who they were. We came there, we sat in the back. Like, man, we're the only black people here, but we don't feel like getting up and walking out. We don't want everybody looking at us. He called us from the back and told us to come to the front. And I'm still like, man, what does this dude? What kind of is this? All this stuff. And then he just started reading my paper. Like nobody knew me there. And he just started reading my mail. You came from Jacksonville, Florida. Your mother name is this. Your father name is that. And you're an artist. You're a rapper. You was in some trouble. That's what brought you to Atlanta. And I mean, he just started reading my mail, and whatnot. And that's how we met. We met just that way. And still after we left that day, like 2 years went by, we still were looking for a place to fellowship, and we found them. And I was there for several years, and our relationship grew. He kind of prepared me apologetically. He embraced the message. He brought understanding and whatnot, but he also helped prepare me to know that that can be a serious message, and people can mark you as a heretic, and people will say all type of manner of things. And by him being in seminary and being a professor, he understood those challenges. So he would call me up and challenge me on my doctrine and what I would be proclaiming. And so, things people see now is kind of like, oh, well, Major's doing this, but that was the one guy who helped train me, for where I'm going to be able to deal with others within seminary, to be able to deal with others who would just come against and call me heretics, to deal with others who even in the Hebrew Israelite community, because even though he understood all of that. And so it was just a blessing. And, now he come to Jacksonville, and just the same way we met in the basement to this weekend, the situation with the air wasn't working right upstairs in the main sanctuary, and we had to go down to the basement, and it brought us right back to when we first met. And now I'm pastoring the church, and he comes to Jacksonville, and we're in the basement again. You couldn't even roll a script like that. And I'm not lying about the air conditioning. It was hot in that place. So.
Yep.
But go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and then the second day, it still broke, but I wasn't having it today. I had to, I fixed at least one of them, you know, and now the legend continues because now y'all ranting and raving about that.
Yes, the legend of Mike Israel is real. He can fix anything. It doesn't matter. He doesn't need to be certified. He's king. He's a kingdom mayor, so he knows to fix everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it was definitely a good event. And that brother, he's on his. I know. Well, he should be back to Atlanta by now, and yeah, a lot of people definitely got blessed. If you could though, talk about what's the next event that's coming up. I know it's in about 2 weeks. Could you talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, the next event coming up is going to be debunked. That's the name of the event, and it's going to have Moray Joshua Cullins and Moray Morris Williams from Hebrew Nation Building or Rebirth of a Nation and whatnot. And so we're going to do some apologetic teaching for the Hebraic community as well as some, Christian brothers and sisters who need some clarity and understanding, regarding uh, the doctrine of conversation about Esau, the white man, all white people are Esau, and all that stuff. So Morris and Josh is going to really teach from that perspective. Of course, me, I'm the comedic pit bull, so I'm going to deal with some of the comedic teachings and things of that nature. And so it's going to be an awesome event, but it's going to be presented by Boom Church, but it'll be featuring the main speakers is Morris and Josh. I'll probably teach about an hour. It's a 4-hour gathering. I'll teach about an hour, then I'll give the rest of the floor to Morris and Josh to do their thing.
Yeah, and it's definitely gonna be a event full of information, um, and like at all the Boom events that I've attended and that I've participated in, there's a lot of networking and fellowshipping because you have a lot of like-minded people who are, you know, they. The way I say it is, everybody I've dealt with in Boom has the spirit of brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, and when you have that spirit, is effortless to deal with everybody. You know.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, that's the common thread, as Prophet Frazier said, a boom effect,
yeah.
uh, whatnot, and everybody is felt welcome. It doesn't feel like there's a hierarchical system of, Majors is the guy and everybody got to bow to him, and everybody got to cater to me. It's a community. We are building a community to where everybody is going to be strong in being able to teach. Everybody is going to be strong in caring for one another. Everybody's going to be strong in all of these areas. From the children on up, we want to make sure that everybody's equipped and everybody's qualified, so that way, if anything goes down, everybody can be able to teach this truth. And so that's the great thing about it. And it's all about love for us. We're not trying to figure out what your DNA strand is. If you Edomite, or we ain't got time for that, man. I mean, it's too much stuff going on
Yeah.
to where we're gonna preach the gospel and the commandments, and whoever grab hold to it, no matter what your skin tone is, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let the Father do the separating. I don't have time for all that other foolishness and trying to guess and figure out this and all this other stuff. I don't have time for that, because the minute we start doing that, we're gonna find out there's some people that look just like us who we think Israel, really not Israel.
Yeah.
You know, so that's pretty much it, man. We got that. Also, August the 3rd, of course, Boom Atlanta is kicking off. We're establishing a community, a congregation, a church, a village, or whatever you want to call it. We're establishing that the same way Boom Jacksonville is. We're establishing that in Atlanta. August the 3rd will be the kickoff, and then on August the 10th, of course, we have the men's conference, the Proverbs Men Conference on August the 10th and 11th, and the sisters is having the Proverbs Women Conference on August the 11th. So we got the men doing their thing and worshiping and coming together, and some sound teaching, some sound teachers and fellowship, and the sisters they gonna do their thing. And man, it's this thing is moving fast, and it's not. I don't see it slowing down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. It's going to be a busy couple of months coming up, but it's going to be a good busy, fun busy. Yeah. So, did you have anything else you want to bring up?
No, man. I'm just glad to the spiritual combat family, man. I am at a place where I feel uncomfortable to say that you guys are definitely family. Everybody over there, D Brew and everybody, and Sister Koya, everybody, now when I say boom, I consider y'all boom too. We all family.
That's
And
right.
so, definitely just making sure that we all just continue to grow spiritually and be there for one another, man. It was like, earlier we was fellowshipping, and I looked around, you like, hey man, let everybody know I'm about to go. And next thing you was like another hour, you know, sitting around, and we all laughing and talking. But yes, man, that's awesome, man. And that's the great thing. That's what I love about what the Most High is doing. It's all about the spirit, and I think everybody is now looking for it at a place where they're kind of tired of all the debating and
Yeah.
all the small things and all these non-salvation issues.
And we
But man,
ready, you got a large group of people who ready to actually apply the word and build this nation. Yeah.
absolutely, and that's nothing but the spirit, man. Because what's going to happen is it's going to weed out those who don't have the spirit.
Yeah.
It's going to make it difficult for those who have agendas.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you don't have an open heart and an open mind, and you're not here to do what the Most High is saying and letting the Ruach do his thing, it's going you we're not going to have to weed you out. You're going to weed yourself out.
That's right.
So that's what's up, man. I thank you always for your time, man, and your diligence. And your platform is going to continue growing, brother. You know what I'm saying? And just get ready, man. And we'll look around and be like, man, wow, like everybody doing their own thing in their own lane, and it's no competition, and everybody's elevating. So
And they're functioning as their parts of the body. You know.
absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. So thank you once again, man, and be blessed. And definitely, I know your wife. She probably waiting on you, whatnot,
Well, no,
and
she got my plate waiting on me. That's what I'm waiting on because I'm hungry. Yeah.
hey, man, we're gonna have to mess around and we're gonna have to bomb wrestle to Corey. We're gonna have to taste one of the meals, man, because
Oh,
you're
she
looking
ready.
like
She ready. She ready. She was already throwing that idea around.
that's what's up. That's what's up. So bless you, man, and y'all be blessed, man. Shalom.
All right. Shalom.
All right.
So yeah, I'm Michael Israel. That was Pastor William Brown from B.O.O.M Church. It was an awesome event, and you're watching Spiritual Combat. I'm Michael Israel, and shalom.